Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. And yes, this is another lesson in insanity. Now, earlier, just a couple of hours ago, I posted the foreword of a very controversial book that was written, I believe, in the mid-70s. Now, if we were to go back in time to the 1970s, early 80s, even the 90s to some extent, and you would read this very specific book, you would believe it to be insane, irrational, paranoid. But again, at the time in which that book was written, based upon what was happening in society, you would probably feel that way, and a lot of people did. And that book has been banned across the United States. You can still get it, but it's very difficult to obtain in some cases. Good luck going into a college or a university, be it grade school, university, state school, private school, and reading that book. You probably won't be able to do it. Now, fast forward to the year 2024. As we speak, in our father nation, quite literally, the United Kingdom, across the pond, people are being arrested for simply posting something online. People are being arrested and placed in prison in the United Kingdom for simply documenting and displaying the historical record, what is actually happening in their country. And if you express an opinion that is contrary to government propaganda, you will be arrested. Now let's take it a step further. It is very difficult to properly defend yourself in the United Kingdom. Gun ownership is essentially illegal. For the means of self-preservation and the defense of one's home based on castle doctrine or stand your ground doctrine is illegal. You cannot do it. Here in the United States, the cackling menace to the Republic is discussing taking executive action to restrict gun ownership. Now, if we were to go back to the 1970s, and we were to explain this was happening, you would probably think that would be insane. That would be dramatic. It would be drastic. Meaning that these sorts of things that are happening right now in the United States, in the United Kingdom, the ununited States, the ununited Kingdom, it would be very difficult to look into the future and say this is going to happen. But in this specific book, this specific writer said these things were going to happen. And as we speak, they are indeed happening. Now, I've talked about this Overton window, meaning things that if I were to tell you were to happen in 2024, and I were to tell you these things were happening or were going to happen, to tell you this in 1970 or 1974, you would probably think I was paranoid, and there was no possible way these things would happen. There would be no possible way in California they would be actively discussing full reparations to African Americans for slavery. No one in California has ever owned a slave, and California was never a slave state during the times of the Confederacy and before that. Now, if I could grab the crystal ball and have a look into the future, let's say in 2040, and I would come back and probably report to you on what I have seen, you would probably think that I am crazy. But again, just as the things are happening now, not too far from my location, gangs of Venezuela illegal aliens are robbing gun stores and taking over apartment blocks, and the police are afraid to respond. The current government of the United States has allowed thousands of illegal Venezuelan aliens, most of which have criminal histories, that were released from insane asylums and prisons, organized gangs, are now roaming the streets of Colorado, terrorizing the citizenry. So that is why I posted that foreword of that specific book. Again, back then, irrational, scary, not possible. Fast forward to where we are now, we probably need to rethink the concept of vigilance committees here in the United States. Committees designed to protect the citizenry of the United States. And maybe that vigilance committee is also called the Hells Angels. Difficult to say at this point, but we shall see. As always, thank you for joining us. Have a good day.